We're a nation on the go, no time to spare, which explains why convenience stores can be so convenient. And for Luke Burbank, if you need it to go, you need to go to Buc-ee's.
We all know that feeling. You're out on the open road, your gas tank is empty, but your bladder's full. Well, in Texas, a lot of folks in this predicament look for this cartoon beaver, the smiling mascot of Buc-ee's.
Welcome to Buc-ee's! Welcome to Buc-ee's! Welcome to Buc-ee's!
It's a gas station chain beloved by road trippers for its award-winning bathrooms and truly Texas-sized scale. 54,000 square feet of homemade fudge, a beef jerky bar, and whatever this is.
You think that's big enough?
Yeah, I think she'll like that.
And they put that beaver on just about anything.
Have a good one.
There we go.
Awesome.
Perhaps not since Mickey Mouse, as a cartoon rodent, captured the hearts
Wanna dance off?
We're gonna be late for school, Mama.
and, crucially, the dollars of so many,
We love going to Buc-ee's.
including customers like Alex and Yasmin Abreu.
I mean, would you be as excited about a place if this was just called Travel Stop?
You
Yeah.
stop for the beaver.
I haven't thought about it, but probably not. Yeah, it's true.
These are boots that I had made with the Buc-ee's logo on it. Had them made right here in Texas.
That's Arch Beaver Applin III, Buc-ee's founder and CEO.
How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Good.
And yes, he really does go by Beaver.
Beaver was my nickname. My mom named me that when I was born.
Buc-ee Beaver Space Guard. Brusha, brusha, brusha.
There was a cartoon character way back, really before my time,
It's dandy for your teeth.
a toothpaste commercial, and he was Buc-ee Beaver. And so this fella always called me Buc-ee Beaver growing up.
Applin opened the first Buc-ee's in 1982 as a regular-sized convenience store, but it wasn't until 2003 that he got the idea to build the mother of all gas stations. These days, Buc-ee's has 41 travel centers throughout the South and boasts 2 world records for the world's largest gas station and the world's longest car wash.
Whoa. Technicolor. Haven't seen that before.
But the most popular attraction at Buc-ee's might be its restrooms, voted the best bathrooms in the nation back in 2012.
Lots of space, tile floor to ceiling, well lit.
Applin designed the restrooms himself.
This is very spacious, very private.
If the bathrooms are the number 1 and number 2 reasons for going to Buc-ee's, the number 3 might be this.
Fresh chopped brisket on the board! Oh, look at that!
In 2017, Buc-ee's hired 8-time world barbecue champion Randy Pauly as its director of barbecue.
Oh, wow, I got a name tag and everything?
We're gonna do this right.
How'd I look? Is
Wait
that
a
right?
minute, wait a minute. We're gonna have to go a little Texas on you.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Look at these bad boys.
It's Pauly's job to teach new hires how to break down a brisket.
So these are gonna be logs that we're gonna chop up. And what we do is we do front to back, X pattern, and you'll be good.
Okay.
You're at the helm, so it's you're the lead. I got fresh chopped brisket on the board. Fresh chopped brisket on the board.
In this case, it turns out, actually my first rodeo.
That looks
How was that, boss?
fantastic.
All right.
So this is one of your favorites.
Yeah.
After almost 40 years in business,
That is wonderful, thank you.
Beaver Applin and his very private, very camera-shy business partner, a guy named Don Wasick, still owned 100% of Buc-ee's.
It wouldn't change the experience.
No investors, no board of directors, and that's exactly how they want it.
One sample for
Any
you,
more
one sample
fresh
for
than this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it allows us total independence to do what we think is the best, and we don't have to answer to maybe a suggestion of how could we cut cost.
Hey, welcome to Buc-ee's.
It's probably one reason why the starting wage for employees at this gas station
How are you today?
is $15 an hour,
All right, your total's gonna be $19.21.
with benefits.
Did you ever have a moment where you thought, wow, I made it, it happened?
My dad, I could always tell he had a little bit of concern. Are you okay? You sure are building these big? This went on many, many years. But when I saw in my dad's eyes that he wasn't concerned anymore and he felt like we had made it, then I think that would be my moment.
Applin is now taking Buc-ee's national, with 6 travel centers outside of Texas and plans for many more. He's betting this unapologetically Texas institution can work beyond the borders of the Lone Star State. And he could be right. After all, when you've got to go, you've got to go. And there just might be a cartoon beaver guiding the way.
Today's Super Bowl is being played in the heart of the South, likely to last a few hours at most. But Atlanta has another claim to fame that's open 24 hours. Here's Luke Burbank.
The eyes of the world are on Atlanta today. But what about the stomachs of the world? Well, if they're at the Super Bowl, there's a good chance they'll end up at a Waffle House.
There's something that appeals to everybody, whether you're a Southerner and you love grits or whether you have to have the hash browns. It is a Southern atmosphere. It's a Southern menu. It's Southern.
Founded in 1955, the first Waffle House was just a tiny rectangular box.
I think it was a neighborhood restaurant.
That original location, now a museum in Atlanta, is where I caught up with Waffle House spokesman Pat Warner.
In the 50s, there weren't a lot of restaurants. Everybody ate at home, so eating out was kind of a fun thing to do.
The food was cheap, made to order, and, as a nutritionist would say, calorically dense. The chain has grown to over 2,000 restaurants these days, mainly in the South.
We got folks who will drive past 2 or 3 Waffle Houses to go to their Waffle House because that's where their server's at, that's where their cook's at.
Employees like grill operator and server Julia Williams.
You know, I have to come see y'all when I'm here.
All righty.
Williams is the quarterback, the Tom Brady, if you will, of this particular Waffle House in North Atlanta.
Order scrambled, dry wheat plate on 2.
Handling details and making decisions on the fly.
Breakfast side, flip it over for the lunch side.
I was her rookie backup. So this entire restaurant, this is all riding on me?
Pretty much.
That's a terrible idea. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it quickly became apparent, I don't know, I was uncoachable.
Butter is right there.
It didn't help that Waffle House basically has its own language.
Order scrambled on 2. One's a biscuit plate.
Plate means hash browns because it's going to be the plate.
And it's smothered and covered.
For instance, smothered means with onions, and covered means topped with cheese. There's no way I'm going to remember this. And when it came to actually cooking the eggs, I was somehow even worse.
Look down your line.
Oh my God. Everybody stop ordering food. I need some time. It was clear that I was unqualified to make the food.
Thank you, Luke. Good job.
So I figured I'd at least eat some of it. Okay, a lot of it, with Atlanta Magazine food critic Mara Shallop.
It's basic food. It's like mostly brown. You don't see anything green on this menu. It's meats, starch, and sugar, and butter, and grease, and everything that's comforting and wonderful.
Waffle House also prides itself on being a comfort when things are anything but wonderful, staying open through hurricanes. FEMA even has a name for it, the Waffle House Index, meaning if a storm is severe enough to shut down a Waffle House, then the government knows the area has been hit hard.
When I get at Waffle House craving, I have to go.
Regardless of the hour?
Apparently, because it's pretty late right now.
Of course, staying open 24/7 means Waffle Houses are pretty much the go-to destination for late-night eating.
This is probably the only place that's near us that's open. And cheap.
She said it's always better when you're drunk.
Wait, who told you that?
My mom. My mom.
That's a bold parenting move. Is this going to be helping you guys out tomorrow morning when you get up?
For work, probably.
Yeah?
Yes.
When today's Super Bowl is over, of course, the victors, they'll have their spoils. But the losers, well, at least they'll be able to smother and cover their sorrows at the Waffle House.
Starting this morning, we launch a now and again Sunday morning series we call Minding Our Business, a look at some of America's great companies. And we begin with the big G you see on the cereal box. It stands for a company with many another product and a very rich history. Anthony Mason takes us inside.
Your archives here go back to the beginning of the company.
Goes back to the beginning of the company, 1866.
Wandering the stacks in the archives of General Mills, you'll encounter the Jolly Green Giant and Betty Crocker.
This one actually becomes a very strong Betty for us.
And get just a little taste of American history.
So here's the first ever athlete on the Wheaties box.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig, 1934.
This is the company that gave us Wheaties.
Get on your way with Wheaties, breakfast of champions.
And that other, even better known breakfast cereal.
But I have to tell you that in 1941, when we created this product, it wasn't actually Cheerios. The original name of the product is Cheeriots.
In-house historian Tom Forsyth says a competitor sued claiming trademark infringement.
Cheerios.
The rest is history.
And you know, oftentimes you think of lawsuits as a negative thing. This one worked out for us.
The Big G is celebrating its 150th anniversary. Now the world's 6th largest food company, with $17 billion in annual sales, General Mills markets hundreds of brands, from Yoplait yogurt to Old El Paso, Nature Valley granola to Annie's Organic.
Today, we're the third largest organic food supplier in the country.
Ken Powell, chairman and CEO of General Mills, says it's all researched in their Betty Crocker test kitchens in Minneapolis.
There are 19 of them, and all of our recipe preparation and development, that all happens here.
This company's been around for a century and a half.
Yeah.
How do you make sure you're around for another 150 years?
By adapting.
That, Powell says, is how the company's survived this long.
It was a milling company on the banks of the Mississippi. We invented the packaged food revolution in America. The consumer wanted convenience, and General Mills became Betty Crocker and Bisquick and Cheerios and cereal.
General Mills began as the Washburn Crosby Company in 1866, selling a single product, its gold medal-winning flour.
Still the #1 selling flour in America.
Is it really?
Yeah, 150 years later. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
1903, gold medal
1903?
cookbook.
Forsyth and archivist Jessica Fauché pulled out an early cookbook.
And this is things you can make with gold medal flour. They'll expect that you know how to do certain things if you're going to make calf's brain breaded. How to separate the two loaves of the brain with a knife and then soak them in cold water with a little salt for an hour. And they expected you to use everything.
Oxize.
Oxize. So now let's talk about Wheaties.
Okay, we're in the cereal section.
In 1921, the company began marketing its second product, Washburn's Whole Wheat Flakes, which would become Wheaties. But they didn't catch on at first.
So on Christmas Eve, 1926, we hired the Wheaties Quartet to come in and sing the Wheaties jingle, which is the first ever singing radio commercial.
Wow.
And it goes something like this. Have you tried Wheaties? There's whole wheat in all the brand.
Won't you try Wheaties? For wheat is the best food of man.
It was catchy.
It was catchy. And Wheaties sales improved.
The company learned the power of radio and television. General Mills would sponsor The Lone Ranger in the 1940s and the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons in the 1950s and 60s.
Today our program is brought to you by General Mills.
So this is the General Mills Fun Group toy section.
The Fun Group.
General Mills was actually the largest manufacturer of toys in the 1970s.
They sold Play-Doh, created the Care Bears, and invented the Nerf ball.
Hey, let's play ball. In the house? Sure.
We sold 4 million Nerf balls the first year.
And yes, those are the monkeys.
You got your Nerf.
So these are going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
Because the Doughboys are actually in little coolers
In 2001, when General Mills bought crosstown rival Pillsbury, a little clay plaster figure joined the family.
Hi, I'm Poppin' Fresh, the Pillsbury Doughboy.
This is the very original
This is the
Pillsbury
very
Doughboy.
original Doughboy, 1965.
And so when he first came about, they had 5 bodies and 15 different heads so that they could switch them out and move them ever so slightly.
Right.
And it actually took 24 still shots to get 1 second of film.
Nothing says loving like something from the oven.
And Pillsbury says it best.
But no character spans the company's history quite like this lady.
Betty Crocker dates to 1921.
The fictional homemaker whose name would decorate millions of cake mix boxes and cookbooks.
Why did General Mills decide they needed a face of Betty Crocker?
People believed Betty was real, and so they wanted to see Betty.
In the archives, they have the original drawing.
But this becomes the basis for Betty's portrait, first painted in 1936.
Betty Crocker would become the second most recognized person in America, behind Eleanor Roosevelt.
She received 4,000 letters a day.
These are some of them?
These are some of them.
In 1944, a Florida wife would write Betty about her husband.
Ever since I experimentally brought home a box of Betty Crocker flour and he experimentally baked a devil's food cake, I can't keep him out of the kitchen.
That's great.
By 1954, General Mills decided Betty needed a makeover and commissioned a handful of top artists to offer ideas.
And this piece was Norman Rockwell's submission.
Is that right?
It finished a very close second.
It's probably the only time Norman Rockwell ever lost.
As America has changed, Betty has been reimagined 6 more times since, most recently in 1996.
Is it time for a new Betty?
Well, there's thought of this, but it's not a small undertaking, and this Betty's quite popular. I have to say, I've gotten older, Betty looks the same.
Yes.
The challenge now for General Mills will be keeping Betty and the company ageless for the next 150 years.
With David Pogue, we're heading to a family-owned grocery store that for more than a century has been serving customers and making friends. A lot of friends.
These people are not here for a rock concert or a playoff game.
I'm so excited.
They didn't get these tattoos for a social cause.
Been waiting decades for this, yes.
They are here for the opening of a grocery store.
It's like going to grocery food Disneyland.
Well, I will say, you have the display of produce thing down. I mean, this is gorgeous.
We began as a produce company in 1916. And actually it wasn't even a store, it was a wagon.
Danny Wegman is the chairman and co-owner of Wegmans Groceries, headquartered here in Rochester, New York. The founders, his grandfather and uncle, wouldn't recognize the 112 stores today. Neatly labeled, beautifully lit, and huge.
That's our whole secret to what we do. Highest volume grocery stores in America. 3 or 4 times what an average store will do.
Wegmans might also be accused of being a little obsessed about food quality. The company operates its own bakery, its own regenerative farm, and its own cheese caves.
Do you think any customer in the grocery store grabbing something for the Super Bowl party knows or cares that that brie has been treated with such extremism?
Probably not. They just know that it's good.
All right, shall we try?
Sure.
Oh, wow. That is a completely different food.
Can you see why we went through all this work
sorry,
to get
I'm busy.
this? Totally.
And yet, Wegmans doesn't describe itself primarily as a food company. Instead,
we're a people company that's very passionate about food.
Danny's daughters, Colleen and Nicole, are CEO and president. They know the company's core values by heart.
Here we go.
Caring, high standards, make a difference, respect, and empowerment.
There's not a company in the world who doesn't say, we care about our customers, we believe in our people. What does that mean in hard terms? Do they have higher pay than the standard?
Absolutely.
Do they get benefits?
Yes.
So the person stocking your shelves gets health insurance?
Yes.
Sure.
Our retention is probably 2 to 3 times what the industry would be. They can come at age 15 and stay for an entire career. And they do. We had over 350,000 applicants last year.
For how many jobs?
Around 10,000.
You had 35 times more applicants than you needed?
Yes. And the number one thing we hire for is caring. We believe we can train just about anything else.
It seems to be working. Wegmans shoppers are almost a cult.
Happy and fun to buy the stuff and try new things.
Everything they do is for the betterment of the community.
What's your reaction when you see somebody with a Wegmans tattoo?
I think it's great. Yes.
Here, I'll show you one.
The newest Wegmans, though, is not a grocery. It's a sushi restaurant in New York that opened this past week, called Next Door.
When you say next door, you're not kidding. Grocery store, restaurant.
Absolutely seamless. I told you, the continuous conversation.
Paula Wegman is Danny's wife and a co-designer.
And so we thought, why not create an oasis for our customers to be able to come and sit down and enjoy away from the hustle and the bustle and the fast pace of the city.
The sushi here is not cheap, but it is spectacular.
Most of the fish comes from Japan. We fly it in at least 2 times a week.
Why would there be a difference between a Japanese tuna and American tuna?
They actually pet the fish and put the fish to sleep, and then they say to the fish, it's been a good life.
Wait, this is real? You can taste the difference between a fish that has been lovingly killed?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Clearly, Wegmans has found a winning formula.
Oh, wow.
So the big question is,
you have 100 and something stores, but they're all on the East Coast. Why aren't you going nationwide?
It's our goal to go to every store at least once a year because we want a personal relationship with our store management.
Our grandfather started that, so we like to stay small enough where we can still do that.
Isn't the objective of a business in America to make as much money as you can?
Our objective is to make the most difference we can.
Our goal is to take care of our people, and we don't care what it costs to do it.
There actually is a place where life is like a box of chocolates. And just in time for Christmas, Luke Burbank takes us there.
Christmas is almost here. But forget about Santa's workshop. The place where they're really busy cranking out the holiday cheer is the Sears Candies factory in Culver City, California. For the last 100 years, Sears has been a holiday tradition for many. Do you have a favorite?
I love all of them. I mean, I really do. But my very favorite is dark chocolate peanut butter.
Pat Egan is Sears' president and CEO. He's a former energy company executive who's turned into a sort of buttoned-up Willy Wonka. What was the appeal to you to move from that kind of work to selling candy?
It's Sears. I mean, it's candy. You get to make people happy.
Founded here in Los Angeles by Charles C., the company used home recipes developed by his mother Mary, whose picture still hangs in every Sears candy shop.
We still use a lot of the formulas. In fact, our peanut brittle over here is an example. We still have the same recipe that Mary had.
It's a recipe that's worked well for the company, which has grown from just one shop to over 200 locations, mostly west of the Rocky Mountains. But one Midwest fan is Warren Buffett. Yes, the Oracle of Omaha. In fact, he liked it so much, he actually bought the company back in 1972 and owns it to this day. He also orders special personal shipments of candy every Christmas.
He's our #1 fan, and he gives it away as gifts.
Is that the order that, you don't want to screw that one up?
We're aware when that order's going out.
Filling one billionaire's order is actually pretty simple compared to trying to make candy when both sugar and chocolate are rationed, which is exactly what happened during World War II.
The call was, well, do we substitute that so that we can maintain production and satisfy the number of customers that are banging down the door? Or do we say we're only going to make so much, and once it's sold, that's it? And that was the choice that they made, which I think is a really good story about if it doesn't meet our standards, we're just not going to do it.
And that wasn't the only time Sears literally ran out of candy. It also happened just last year during the pandemic. The factory shut down, and since Sears doesn't use preservatives, their candy literally has a shelf life. The assembly line actually stopped.
Yeah, from early March until late April, early May, we donated all of our candy, food banks, frontline workers.
So you also gave away your whole inventory?
Yes, yeah, entirely.
To Egan's great relief, Sears production lines are up and running again. And if this all looks sort of familiar, well, there's a reason.
Here she comes.
Lucille Ball and Vivian Vance actually trained for that beloved candy scene right here in this Sears factory.
You want some help?
Iris Eshu, Vice President of Food Safety, let me try my hand on the assembly line.
Anything that is extra, you want to remove from the board.
And it was Lucy-esque.
You're a little slow there, Lou.
Is this normally this fast?
Yep. So are you starting to feel like Lucy?
I mean, more than I want to. I need to go take a break, okay? That's a lot. Oh, sorry, was that? Unfortunately, I was kind of a flop in Candyland, so I decided to leave it to the experts. After all, they've been doing it for 100 years. They must know something.
It's a tale both tantalizing and tasty, and at its center, some Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Here's Lee Cowan.
I've never failed the test in life.
Richard Montagnez. He really likes his superlatives.
I'm probably the most uneducated, brilliant person you will ever meet.
There's one. Here's another.
I'm known as the godfather of Hispanic branding.
Why Hispanic branding? Well, because Montagnez claims to be the Willy Wonka behind one of the spiciest and best-selling snack foods on the market. Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos, anyone? Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
It's no small thing because Flamin' Hot Cheetos are an industry well beyond just the snack food aisle.
Whoa, gee, there's no fire here. Just Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
They're featured in fashion shows, internet memes,
the Flaming Hot Cheeto turkey.
even recipes for Thanksgiving turkeys.
Voila.
And they remain front and center in stores, along with their traditional Cheeto brethren.
You don't have to reach up and you don't have to bend down. Top seller.
Yeah. The Genesis tale, at least as told by Richard Montagnez, goes like this. He and his wife Judy invented the spicy sensation right in their own kitchen, back when Montagnez was a factory worker at a Frito-Lay plant in Southern California.
My whole life I'd been told that I was mentally incapable, that I was mentally challenged because I thought different. So that kind of stuck with me. Like, a great idea can come from anywhere, any place, anyone.
PepsiCo, Frito-Lay's parent company, initially went along with the origin story, at least publicly. After all, this bootstraps kind of tale was pretty good for the brand. That's Montagnez touting Flaming Hots in the Blue Room at the White House. But even he says PepsiCo warned him to keep those superlatives in check.
Because they would even tell me, Richard, in your speeches, you need to say it was a team effort. But in reality, it never was. If you want to go ahead and say it was a team effort, I'll give you that, but in my heart, it had nothing to do with the team.
He was promoted up the corporate ladder during his career, retiring from Frito-Lay in 2019 as a director, working on Hispanic marketing. But it wasn't an easy trip to the top, he says.
I remember one director said, you're never going to get in marketing You have to have an MBA. You don't even have a high school diploma, so give it up.
Did you think it was racism?
I think it was a type of racism, color, but also pedigree.
He sat down to write a book about his career as the snack foods creator, Flamin' Hot. But on the eve of its release, the LA Times published the results of a year-long investigation. Yep, a reporter spent a year digging into Flamin' Hots, which showed that the popular snack food we all know today was more than likely developed at Frito-Lay's headquarters in Plano, Texas, not the humble kitchen of the Montañez family.
Maybe they did. What I had was what I had. I don't know what you're talking about.
Some members of the team that says it developed the recipe for Flamin' Hots are in fact Flamin' Hot mad at Montañez for taking credit. That said, it's not a debate that's exactly going to crumble Western civilization, but there is something instructive about his story that many, especially in the Latino community, say is worth hearing. Before the Cheeto dust hit the fan, he took us to his old neighborhood, on the other side of the tracks, as he puts it.
This had the coldest beer in Southern California. He had the old.
As poor as he was, he knew when he got his first job at Frito-Lay, as a janitor, he better make it count.
It was my ticket, my chance. If I got that job, I would be set for life. I can go from the fields into the factories.
He was always thinking, mainly about ways to include people like him.
It just kind of dawned on me,
who loved traditional Mexican spices.
I mean, everything you need to create a spicy flavor is right here. All this stuff is, this is home.
But what to put those spices on? One day, he saw a street vendor selling elotes, corn sprinkled with chili powder.
I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, that looks like a Cheeto.
Not knowing, or perhaps not caring about the consequences, Montañez says he cold called the CEO of Frito-Lay directly, a man named Roger Enrico.
Did you ever think twice about dialing that phone?
Yeah, but I didn't know what protocol was. It's like, I don't think I could spell the word at the time, let alone know what it meant,
Were you amazed that he picked up the phone?
Oh, totally.
Enrico died in 2016, but we talked with his executive assistant who remembers the call like it was yesterday. After all, it was pretty extraordinary.
Who let the janitor call the CEO?
His bold pitch to the top executive seems to have happened. The question is, when did it happen? Montañez says he made that call in 1991. But by that time, PepsiCo says it had already trademarked the name Flamin' Hot and was test marketing the product in select cities. Now, if he knew that, why would he pitch a product already in existence? If he didn't know it, then maybe it's a case of great minds think alike, a worthy idea that someone else had before him. In the first of several statements to a hungry press, PepsiCo said, "We do not credit the product creation to him and him alone." But later stated, "We attribute the launch and success of Flamin' Hot Cheetos and other products to several people who worked at PepsiCo, including Richard Montañez."
I mean, I never thought I'd have, as much as I have now, so I'm very thankful.
So where does that leave us?
This is my grandkids' delight.
His book detailing his achievements, minus the questions about them, is still being released next week. And there's a postscript. Actress Eva Longoria is set to direct an upcoming film about his life. A huckster or a hero? One thing is clear. Richard Montañez is not about to apologize for what he thinks made him a flamin' hot success.
Would you do it all over again?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To open a new department store in this day and age requires a lot of gumption. Gumption one retailing family seems to possess by the shelfful. Tracy Smith shows us who's minding the store.
It seems that New York is most beautiful at holiday time, when the city is a sparkling jewel and the bustling department stores are like old friends. Except now, some of those old friends aren't exactly bustling anymore. After more than a century, Henry Bendel is now but a memory. Barney's is circling the drain. And on Fifth Avenue, Lord & Taylor is done and dusted. But a few blocks away from those dear departed department stores, Nordstrom was throwing a party. This was in October, the day before they opened their new flagship store in New York City.
Does New York need a department store? They need a Nordstrom.
And the highlight of the morning was an appearance by some people who usually try to avoid the spotlight, the Nordstroms themselves.
Well, good morning. I'm Jamie. I'm the fun one.
Jamie Nordstrom is part of the fourth generation minding the store.
Was New York always a dream for Nordstrom?
Oh, for sure. If you're going to compete with the best, you got to be here.
If you can make it here.
I'm not going to finish that.
But they're definitely playing to win. Like all Nordstroms, the New York store carries the prettiest and the priciest, and they even put full-service bars in the shoe section.
Yeah, the bar. So what's the thought there?
Well, anything from a cup of coffee to a martini. Shoe shopping should be fun. We're going to make sure you're comfortable when you're doing it.
And the Nordstroms could probably use a drink themselves about now. Getting people to shop at department stores at all these days is an uphill task, and the Nordstroms will have their work cut out for them, says Mark Cohen of Columbia University Business School.
I put the question, does New York need another department store, to the Nordstrom brothers, and they said, no, New York doesn't need another department store, but it needs a Nordstrom.
I think that New York doesn't need another department store. I don't think the United States needs another department store, and we'll have to wait and see how this all turns out.
But you could say it's turned out pretty well so far. The Seattle-based company was founded in 1901 by a Swedish immigrant, John W. Nordstrom, and his business partner, Carl Wallen. Nordstrom quickly became a chain of go-to stores in the Northwest, the latest styles in nearly every size, and the best service through good times and bad. But by the 1970s, when then-President Bruce Nordstrom wanted to open a store in California, some financial analysts called him crazy.
I told him we're going to go down to California. He says, you're going to get your head handed to you. Down there, everybody's hip, and you're just a bunch of dumb Swedes selling to a bunch of other dumb Swedes.
He literally said you're a bunch of dumb Swedes.
He's giving me a joke, but I'll remember that to the day I die.
He proved him wrong. The company's California stores are among the most profitable. It's worth mentioning that, like most Nordstrom leaders, Bruce Nordstrom had started out as a shoe salesman, or, as they say down on the floor, a shoe dog.
You know, you still call yourself a shoe dog?
I am a shoe dog.
The same was true of his oldest son, Blake, who went on to lead the company himself, and his two other boys, Pete and Eric, who are the current Nordstrom co-presidents.
And there was no skipping that step.
There was no skipping that step.
There weren't a lot of other job offers at age 12, so we kind of took what we could get.
Is there something to being literally down on your knees at someone's foot that teaches you about service?
You must have talked to our dad, because that's the line we heard a lot growing up. And those are lessons that we've taken with us to this day.
Another lesson might be perseverance. Blake Nordstrom and his family had dreamed of a New York store for decades, but even as it was finally being built, the family was rocked by some horrific news. Just before Christmas last year, Blake announced that he'd been diagnosed with lymphoma. He was optimistic and said he planned to keep working through treatment. But on January 2nd, Blake Nordstrom unexpectedly passed away. He was 58.
How much of a hole does that leave, not having him around?
Oh, it left a big hole. I mean, there's somebody that you love so much, you can't just dry your eye and do it. It sticks with you.
He was really good at his job. He had good instincts about the business, but I'll tell you this, as good as he was at his job, he was a better brother. He was a great brother, and we really miss him.
The Nordstrom family built a simple tribute to Blake in the New York store. His footprints cast in bronze, forever watching over the shoe department he'd worked so hard to build.
What do you think he'd think?
He'd love it.
Well,
I don't know if he'd love the footprints thing, but he'd love the store.
he would love the store.
And now they're hoping shoppers will love the store and maybe give the Nordstrom crew a real reason to celebrate.
How do you see the future looking for Nordstrom?
I think we're going to do great. Now, we took a slump like every other department store. It's been a battle. And so now I think we've got it going. So we're not there yet, but where we're going to be, I think.
You've seen them. Dollar stores dot the landscape. They offer bargains, to be sure. But overall, are they a deal or no deal? A question which helps explain why Fort Worth passed new restrictions on them just this past week. Our cover story is reported by Allison Aubrey of National Public Radio.
Moville, Iowa is part of the nation's breadbasket, so it's a bit of a surprise that it's not easy to buy fresh food in this town of 1,600. In 2016, the discount retailer Dollar General opened next door to the local grocer.
When Dollar General first come in, right away our business probably dropped 15–20%.
Chet Davis is still in the grocery business,
Is your change, man?
but he says his Moville location just could not compete. It's one example in a nationwide controversy about the increasing influence dollar stores can have not only on where we shop, but also on what we eat. Moville's Dollar General does not sell fresh fruits or vegetables or meats, but it does have lower prices on just about everything else.
Some people might look at this situation and say, dollar stores are selling what people want at cheap prices. That's competition.
Yep,
Sorry.
and competition is good, but we're not talking competition where we're on an even playing field. So if the volume that they buy, you're under their thumb.
With the grocery closed, most of Moville now drives 30 minutes to Sioux City for a head of lettuce. And down the road in Correctionville, the local grocer also closed after Dollar General opened there too. In the struggle between Main Street and corporate America, the concern was once Walmart.
In town after small town, Main Street is going out of business. Stunned by a huge and controversial discount retailer, shopkeepers call
5, 13, 14, 15.
the merchant of death.
Today, the focus is on dollar stores. Consider this. There are now more dollar stores in the U.S. than Starbucks and McDonald's combined. 30,000 of them. As many brick-and-mortar retailers struggle, dollar stores have quietly expanded to nearly every town in America. And bargain hunters love them.
I'm just delighted. I get happy every time I come here. I feel like, oh, somebody's going to change the price any minute now.
There are 3 major chains. Family Dollar, located mostly in cities. Dollar Tree, the only store where everything is actually $1, and Dollar General, now the largest retailer in the country when it comes to the number of stores, 16,000.
Our stores have that option available to be able to run in, get it, and really get out.
I'm looking over your shoulder here. These cards, 2 for $1?
Absolutely.
Greeting cards, 2 for $1. Wow.
Dollar General spokesperson Crystal Gusemi says they've added 1,000 new stores over just the last year.
Our core customer has about a $40,000 or less total household income, and we know that they are shopping us from very rural areas to metropolitan areas all over the country.
In many communities, the dollar store is a real asset, a convenient place to grab detergent or batteries. But in some small towns and urban areas, the dollar store is also the closest thing to a grocery store. And this can be a problem.
If you could talk to the executives of dollar stores, what would you say to them?
Shame on you. You're killing America just so you can get richer.
Wow, that's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, they have a model that is a brilliant model to make quick bucks off the backs of our health.
For years, Barry Popkin has warned Americans about the dangers of too much sugar and soda. Now, the professor of nutrition at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is concerned about dollar stores.
They're adding 1,000 a year.
At a time when poor diets are linked to nearly 900 deaths a day in this country, Popkin says, look at what dollar stores sell. Rows and rows of sugary drinks, candies, and processed foods high in salt and fat.
Increases their risk of heart disease mortality, cancer mortality, diabetes, obesity. This is the worst food that they can be eating.
So is this exacerbating the health problems of the demographic that's shopping there?
Yes, it's adding to the health crisis that lower income America faces. And that's Black, Hispanic, and white America all shop in these stores.
Consider DeKalb County, Georgia, near Atlanta.
How many dollar stores do you have here in DeKalb County?
Currently, we have a total of 68 Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, and Dollar General stores within this district.
County Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson says 25% of people in DeKalb County live in a food desert. That's a low-income area with limited access to supermarkets. She worries there are just too many dollar stores in these neighborhoods.
They tend to highly saturate areas. When you look at the pattern of growth of the dollar store, as well as the areas that have the highest levels of obesity, hypertension, high blood pressure, there is a direct correlation.
You see that in your data?
We see that in the data.
That's one reason why Fort Worth, Tulsa, Birmingham, New Orleans, and Kansas City, among others, have already passed restrictions on where new dollar stores can open. And as you might imagine, dollar stores oppose these measures.
Ultimately, when you stifle competition, the customer hurts the most. And I think it gives us an opportunity to provide economic impact through jobs and to be able to really help the communities.
As for the impact the stores have on what we eat, the big three chains say they're not grocery stores. But Dollar General's Crystal Gusemi says their stores do offer healthy options.
So we've got frozen vegetables. We have all-natural chicken from Tyson.
So the healthy options sort of sit side by side with some really not as healthy items. There's curly fries underneath the broccoli cuts. There's breaded butterfly shrimp.
It goes back to the customer's choice to be able to make their decision. And we have the options that should they want to be able to eat healthfully, they can do so with Dollar General's help.
Dollar General is adding fresh produce to some of its stores, but so far, that's only 3%. As for its competition, Dollar Tree, which also owns Family Dollar, the company declined our request for an interview, but in a statement points out they, quote, complement and operate side by side with grocery stores. Back in western Iowa, grocer Chet Davis has one last store open in the town of Kingsley. But it's unclear for how long. Dollar General is building a new location here, too.
Are you worried?
Oh, definitely.
You are essentially asking people to come into your store and pay a little extra so that you can stay in business. Is that a hard sell for people in your community?
Oh, that's definitely a hard sell because everybody's trying to save some money. It's up to the people of the community to really think hard and decide what they want. It's completely up to them.
Ever been to a Tupperware party? Martha Teichner cordially invites all of us to put a lid on it.
Haven't you wished for unspillable containers that wouldn't break? Tupperware was designed with an accent on beauty for people of fine taste.
Tupperware parties. A blast from the past if there ever was one.
That's why I'm here, to show you how to use the seal properly.
Are you wondering, does Tupperware still exist? Do they even have those parties anymore? The answer is an emphatic
Hi!
yes.
So, does anyone else want wine?
But the parties are a lot more fun now.
You guys check this out. We have metal for the microwave. Go, what? We've also got our silicone molds now.
At least the one Corinne Brown threw last Sunday outside Charlotte, North Carolina was.
So literally, I've been in Tupperware my whole life. My mom promoted to Tupperware manager right before she gave birth to me. I was born, raised, and burped in Tupperware.
Hear that whisper? Burp?
That's Tupperware's
Yup.
airtight promise
The
to keep
bowl
food
that
flavored
burped
fresh.
began it all.
Tupperware comes in all.
This tiny rim in the container slants out, so the narrow groove in the Tupperware seal fits into it. When you snap the two together and burp them, air is locked out, freshness is locked in.
Earl Tupper had paint can lids in mind when he invented the Tupperware seal just after World War II.
This is Tupperware.
Believe it or not, lightweight, unbreakable plastic containers were revolutionary then. Unfortunately, too revolutionary. At first, nobody bought Tupperware.
Tupperware, in order to be fully appreciated, must be demonstrated.
Enter Brownie Wise, who sold so much Tupperware by demonstrating the products to groups of friends that Earl Tupper hired her and turned her loose to transform the whole business of home sales.
Brownie Wise with some of the nation's foremost sales authorities.
She was a superstar, the first woman on the cover of Business Week. A glamorous role model for the army of women, and it was mostly women,
19 of them had sales of over $1,000.
who made money, even supported their families. As the stay-at-home moms, their husbands expected them to remain. Brownie Wise built their confidence and rewarded their success.
As Peggy receives the grand prize of the Tupperware Treasurama.
It was women's empowerment by stealth. Tupperware Brands runs according to her playbook to this day, which is good and bad. The stock price has tanked. The CEO just quit. The company has opened a holiday pop-up shop in a trendy part of New York City. In spite of a worldwide sales force of more than 3 million in more than 80 countries, the challenge is reaching people who buy cheaper containers in the supermarket and think of Tupperware as yesterday, if they think of Tupperware at all.
They don't know how to find us, and that's the first question anyone asks us.
Asha Gupta is head of marketing and strategy for Tupperware. Why should they buy Tupperware instead of this aisle of stuff in the supermarket?
Once they start using our products, realize the worth of it. The products themselves last a very, very long time.
You're not taking my Tupperware. And don't you dare walk off.
My Tupperware is my Tupperware.
With somebody else's Tupperware.
I will come hunt you down and I will get my Tupperware back.
That is a serious no-no.
Nobody's getting that.
I saw that.
Exactly 40 years ago, in millions of homes, maybe yours, entire families were eagerly looking through this holiday catalog from Sears. So what happened? And what's in store for the store that used to set the pace for American retailing? Our cover story is reported by David Pogue.
Dear Mr. Sears and Roebuck, I've been sitting here thumbing through your book.
At its peak, Sears Roebuck was the biggest retailer in the world. Its headquarters was the tallest building in the world.
One of America's great merchant companies is Sears Roebuck.
It was the biggest employer in America and was even America's biggest publisher, thanks to its famous catalog. But then,
Sears has officially filed for bankruptcy.
The company has struggled for years after it dominated the department store business for much of the 20th century.
today, many of the Sears stores you grew up with look like this.
Did you ever know this as a Sears? Were you ever here?
Yeah, I was here. I used to shop in here.
This Sears at the Paramus Park Mall in New Jersey is about to become a Stu Leonard's grocery store. Stu Leonard Jr. is the CEO.
I've always looked at Sears as you know, a great retailer. And now to see us taking over a Sears, I will sit there and say, boy, we have to keep changing too as retailers.
Sears was founded 125 years ago by a railroad man named Richard Sears. With his partners, Alva Roebuck and later Julius Rosenwald, he figured out that America's new railroads and the Postal Service's package delivery would let them deliver products to small towns all over the country. Sears sold everything you'd ever need, from cradle to grave. Everything for the house, including the whole house.
No greater anti-communist propaganda could be disseminated in Russia or elsewhere than a few thousand of the 40 million copies of Sears catalogs put out each year.
They took elite artifacts that only wealthy people had, made them accessible to people who were rising up through this new thing called the middle class.
Don Katz is the author of The Big Store, an inside look at Sears written in 1986. He says Sears didn't invent the future only once. In 1925, the company's then vice president Robert Wood launched Sears' second act, opening physical stores.
He decided that the automobile was the key to what was going to happen to commerce in America. And he began to buy the crossroads outside of cities and towns all over the country.
Those crossroads eventually became the suburbs. And when Americans moved in, Sears was waiting. You make it sound like Sears was this incredibly innovative company at the beginning.
Completely innovative. They were inventing consistently.
Sears people will tell you that the real satisfactions come from building into a job a part of yourself.
In its heyday, Sears offered job benefits like profit sharing and generous pensions. No wonder so many employees stayed with the company for decades.
This end table came from Sears, and the two wing backs came from Sears.
Bobby Jones worked at Sears for 35 years.
Recliner.
And filled his house with its products.
This is a Kenmore dishwasher, microwave oven. This table and chairs and the china cabinet came from Sears. The drapes came from Sears. From my very first memory as a child, the Sears catalog was there in our house. The majority of the clothes, shoes, was ordered from Sears. My mother even ordered her fruitcake each Christmas from Sears.
But over the years, innovation slowed and things began to change.
Sears became increasingly inwardly focused, as many businesses that become very successful and very large do, to their peril.
Mark Cohen was once the CEO of Sears Canada. Today, he teaches retail studies at Columbia University. He says that Sears could have survived the competition from Walmart, Home Depot, and even Amazon. What ultimately doomed Sears, he says, was bad leaders. Especially billionaire investor Edward Lampert, who bought Sears in 2004 and merged it with Kmart.
Today, Kmart went shopping and came home with Sears.
Lampert has sold off Sears brands and real estate and closed hundreds of stores. Of the 2,300 Sears locations 8 years ago, only about 500 remain open today. Lampert has publicly defended his efforts to turn the company around, and in an email to Sears employees, he blamed the bankruptcy in part on today's, quote, difficult retail environment. After declining our repeated requests to interview Lampert, Sears yesterday provided a statement that reads in part, protecting the interests of Sears associates and all stakeholders has and will continue to be a priority for the management.
Is it possible that Sears was already behind the times, doomed to go out of business when Lampert came along, and that he really wasn't the tipping point?
Well, I believe in 2005, when Lampert took over, the company could have been resurrected. Amazon still was in a very nascent position. Sears still had a tremendous reputation, especially in brands like Kenmore, Craftsman, and Die Hard. And so there was no reason to believe the company had to, quote unquote, fail.
Many retirees at this Sears reunion in Atlanta can't understand why Sears couldn't turn its successful catalog business into a successful internet store.
Get the orders in, get the merchandise out, and get it out fast.
Sears could have had control of that just like Amazon many years ago. And this, I guess...
They gave it away.
Gave it away, that's right.
Well, good point. After predicting the impact of the railroad and then the highway system, how could Sears miss the rise of the internet? Well, it didn't.
Connect Prodigy to your computer and get stock quotes almost as fast as a broker.
Remember the early online service called Prodigy? It was a joint venture between Sears, IBM, and CBS.
Get sports scores faster than on TV. Shop at home.
11 years before Jeff Bezos founded Amazon.com. It was just a little ahead of its time.
What happens when you lose your way is you don't even know what you have anymore.
20 years after writing his book about Sears, Don Katz left journalism to found the audiobook company Audible, which in 2008 was bought by Amazon. He says all companies, even his own, can learn from what happened to Sears.
They needed to reinvent themselves in a really disruptive way. It just didn't happen.
The remaining Sears stores are still open for the holidays, and just last week, Edward Lampert's hedge fund offered to buy the company out of bankruptcy for $4.6 billion, saying they believed in Sears's, quote, potential to evolve. But retail professor Mark Cohen isn't optimistic.
The company has zero chance of success. I hate to say that because there's still quite a few people in the U.S. at least who look to Sears for their employment, but there's no chance for the future there, in my opinion.
You walk in, you hit the farmer's market, then you're going to hit the bakery right over there.
And at that Stu Leonard's grocery store in New Jersey, the only bit of Sears that will remain is a lesson.
It's just a message to all businesses in America. You know, you have to change. Just as a good reminder for us, we have to change every day.
With Valentine's Day just 3 days away, candy store owners are dreaming of sweet success, including the celebrity confectioner our Alina Cho has dropped in on.
You eat at least one piece of candy every day.
That's an understatement.
It's all part of the job. Dylan Lauren is founder and CEO of Dylan's Candy Bar. Her New York flagship, 3 floors and 15,000 square feet, is said to be the largest candy store in the world, with the largest selection.
7,000 candies, but we rotate them. So we rotate every holiday, every special occasion.
It's one of New York's most popular tourist destinations.
This is your nostalgia area.
Yes, people love seeing what they grew up with.
She says the store attracts more than 2 million visitors a year.
Oprah, when she came, I mean, the whole store was buzzing about that for weeks.
Downstairs, there's a whole wall of celebrity favorites.
Madonna, she loves Red Hots.
And Bill Clinton likes...
He likes Payday.
Payday.
This all began at her 6th birthday party.
Come with me, and you'll be...
when her parents played the classic movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for Dylan and her friends.
I love that movie, and I probably watched it 100 times since.
I want an everlasting gobstopper.
Me too! The idea of wanting to live in this magical candy land is something I wanted to bring to life.
But how to do it required some help. And who better to turn to than her father, fashion legend Ralph Lauren.
At what point did you realize what your father did?
I never really thought about, them being, world famous. A lot of people come up to me still. So I have this shirt with a stain on it. Can I get another one?
Speaking of shirts.
As a kid, seriously, I think seeing my dad have these jars of fabric and swatches to design his shirts, I wanted to eat the fabric because I thought it looked like candy. It was so beautiful.
What did your father teach you in terms of how to approach business?
What I love is that my dad has very much stuck to his gut and stuck to his guns, and I believe that it's really important to follow your gut and also to not be a follower. My dad is a trendsetter. You know, I see competitors popping up, but he's always been like, don't look at them. You know, it's like if you watch them, it's going to slow you down. Like, go your path, but don't be threatened by it.
Good advice. Dylan's Candy Bar just celebrated its sweet 16th birthday, with 16 locations nationwide and plans to open soon in Dubai and Japan.
They're just looking at it one more time.
Dylan Lauren is more than just the face of the brand. She's a working executive who pays attention to the tiniest of details.
This is excellent.
At this staff meeting, the subject is marketing a new line of healthier candies.
Because everything else is so colorful, I want people to understand it's vegan, it's gluten-free, nut-free, allergen-free.
Her high-end candy empire includes not just sweets, but collaborations with companies that make clothing, bedding, baby strollers. She even makes candy for Saturday Night Live.
I think there will be some people who will watch this and say, Dylan Lauren, daughter of Ralph Lauren, why didn't she just work for her dad? Or, frankly, why work at all?
Right.
You didn't have to do any of this.
Yeah, sometimes I think that when it's stressful and I'm traveling and I go from one country to the next and, you know, I just want to like sit and relax. But I've always been driven.
Lauren has her own family now. Married to financier Paul Arroway, the couple has young twins, appropriately named Cooper Blue and Kingsley Rainbow. She recently won the candy equivalent of an Oscar. She's been on dozens of magazine covers, but she says it's the Dylan Lauren Barbie doll she's most proud of.
I actually kind of wish I looked exactly like her.
Dylan Lauren says she has big plans for her business, guided by her father and inspired by the vision of Walt Disney.
Could there be a candy hotel?
You are onto something. Like Disney, I hope to open a candy theme park, maybe a candy hotel. So trust me, you're not far.
This morning, we're sampling a taste of summer, something that's very cool. Nancy Giles does the honors.
Yum, yum. Popsicle is pure. Yum. Popsicle is wholesome. Yum.
On a hot summer day, who doesn't like a popsicle?
It's popsicle. Yes, it's delicious popsicle. In the back.
But did you know the original popsicle sprang from the mind of a 10-year-old boy named Frank Epperson? Back in 1905, on an unusually cold San Francisco night,
he had some kind of soda mix in a glass, and for experimental reasons, he decided to leave it out on the porch overnight.
Kathleen Epperson is Frank's granddaughter.
In the morning when he came out, it was frozen solid. And so he took it out, and that was the beginning of the popsicle.
He would have to grow up before he patented the idea. Yes, the popsicle had a patent in 1924.
He called it Epsicle, Ep for Epperson, and sickle because it looked like an icicle.
But his 4-year-old son, George, came up with a catchier name.
So he ran up and he put his arms around his father's leg and he said, "Pop, Pop, can I have a sickle? I want a popsicle."
Oh, I love that.
Frank took his popsicles to San Francisco's Neptune Beach, the Coney Island of the West.
You know, each week it'd be a different kid going in and asking for a popsicle. And the guy would have to say, "We don't sell popsicles." And then after several weeks of different kids asking for popsicles, my grandfather would go in and say, "Can I interest you in selling popsicles?"
That is marketing genius.
Then the Great Depression hit, and he was forced to sell all his rights for $50,000.
What I can tell you is that we make over 2 billion popsicles per year.
Russell Lilly is a senior marketing director at Unilever, parent company of Good Humor Breyers, which is the latest company to make popsicles.
I have here one of your magical double pop.
The double pop, once discontinued, now the height of cool. Its return championed by the likes of Justin Bieber.
since there's no one in the room to share this with, I guess I'll have to have it myself.
I won't tell anybody.
Thank you.
And creative folks are still being inspired by Frank Epperson's original idea.
We saw the need for it, and we went for it.
Khaled Hamid and his wife Shelley created Island Pops in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Look at that! 5 years ago.
Everything that we do is handmade, small batch, made with love and based on memories that we have acquired growing up in the Caribbean.
Both came from Trinidad, and it was Shelley's craving for the flavors of her homeland that inspired them to open this family business.
We saw the need. We saw the need for the island experience, the island authenticity. You know, like a vacation in a spoon, I would say. You know?
A vacation in a spoon. It really does take you away. Oh my God, that is like so pineapple. A vacation.
Alright! Woohoo!
And these days,
Oh, that's good.
isn't that what we all want?
I don't know what else to say. Let's turn on the music and start dancing.
Nancy Giles tells us all about a beverage with Moxie.
There's Coke, there's Pepsi, there's 7-Up. But in the state of Maine, the soft drink they celebrate is Moxie.
Moxie actually outsold Coca-Cola nationally in the 1920s.
And gave us a new word.
The word Moxie is in the English language, meaning pluck and verve and strength. Few people know that that word came from the drink.
Merrill Lewis enjoys spreading the word about his favorite drink at the Moxie Museum in Union, Maine, birthplace of Dr. Augustine Thompson, who began selling his Moxie nerve food in Lowell, Massachusetts in 1885.
What were some of the claims of things that it could cure?
Well, it could cure nervous exhaustion, loss of manhood, imbecility. I like to say everything from halitosis to hangnail.
Moxie was actually the Viagra of its day, you know?
Who knew? Jim Baumer wrote the book on Moxie.
Moxie's real sort of heyday was early 1900s. Every major city in America had a large billboard about Moxie. Sides of buildings with the Moxie logo with these advertisements that were painted on the building. You had Moxie in magazines. Wherever there was a marketing sort of presence, Moxie jumped in and was part of that.
It was a marketing blitz unheard of at the time. Moxie songs, celebrity endorsements, a Moxie game, Moxie candy, something called a Moxie horsemobile.
That is a horse mounted on a car chassis that somebody sat on and drove around the country.
And a Moxie boy.
That's the guy that points.
The guy that points, and he's got dark eyes, and he's pointing at you, said, "Drink my Moxie or I'll kill you."
And if the Moxie boy looks familiar, according to Moxie lore, this iconic World War I poster
was designed from the Moxie boy.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Every summer, with a 2-year break for COVID, folks from all over have gathered in Lisbon Falls, Maine to celebrate Moxie with parades.
You've got Moxie.
Bake-offs.
You need to have as much Moxie as possible.
Moxie memorabilia. And Moxie ice cream.
Good. If you drink Moxie, you have Moxie. And you have Moxie if you drink Moxie.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
By now, you're probably wondering what Moxie tastes like. Well, it's kind of hard to describe, but that doesn't stop anyone from trying.
Not real sweet, but very good. Sort of like root beer and Coca-Cola and coffee all together, and you mix it up, and it's good warm, cold.
It tastes like a rugged root beer.
I personally think it tastes like a little bit of flat root beer, a little bit of flat Pepsi, mixed with a little drop of cough syrup.
So there you have it, a soft drink that inspired a word. And, according to Moxie enthusiasts, might be just what we need today.
What this country needs is plenty of Moxie, and it does.
From homes with style to sneakers with soul, with Luke Burbank, we take flight.
Just last week in Queens, New York, more than 200 people lined up to pay $200 for a shoe most of them already owned. The Nike Air Jordan. The most successful basketball shoe in history turns 40 this year, and yet it almost didn't happen.
He did not want to be there. And he had told his agent, I'm not going.
Howard White was in the room back in 1984 when Michael Jordan, then a rookie short on NBA experience but long on potential, was basically dragged to Oregon by his parents to meet with a relatively small sneaker company called Nike.
This was bigger than anything that we'd done. You know, typically a great player would get like $100,000, but this was so unique in terms of just doing it.
The offer, $2.5 million to wear their shoes, triple what anyone else in the league was making.
Air Jordan by Nike.
Jordan took the deal, and the rest is sneaker history.
Nothing's hotter.
When Nike launched the Air Jordans back in 1985, they hoped to sell $3 million worth of product. Instead, they sold $126 million in 1 year.
There's a kaboom.
Look out.
What a jam! Here's Jordan down the middle all the way.
Much of that success was thanks to Jordan's incredible play on the court.
Kaboom! And that's what they came to see, didn't they?
But there was also Nike's marketing approach, which was groundbreaking in its own right, joining the cultural conversation in ways few commercials for basketball shoes ever had.
It's gotta be the shoe. It's gotta be the shoe. Shoe.
And don't forget the shoe's design itself, a process that managed to blend sports technology with a set of aesthetic principles that would make Jordans as much a fashion statement as a basketball shoe, as evidenced by the Christian Dior Jordans Howard White was wearing for our interview, which retail for up to $17,000.
In order to translate what he did as a man into what we do as a brand, you have to start with a series of principles. We call them ethos.
40 years later, that design work falls to Jason Maiden, Chief Design Officer for the Jordan brand, which these days is a standalone division within Nike that generates some $7 billion a year by itself.
You first start with connectivity, why this product has relevance and reverence. Then you put that into a very strict process that we call visioneering. And so what's interesting is we have a playbook. I can't show you what's in it.
But you can show me the outside?
I can show you the cover. It's beautiful. So
if you could peek inside, you'd probably see one of the designs for their yearly Air Jordan release. That's right, Nike has been putting out a new pair of Jordans every year for the last 39 years.
Does a lot of the stuff that your team designs, does Michael Jordan get eyes on it still, a lot of it? Like how central is he to the operation here in 2025, 40 years in?
Oh, he's very integral. He's very integral to the operation. He sees everything. He trusts us a lot. He has opinions on things that are near and dear to him.
It has given me my life's purpose.
Legendary. Sean Williams founded the Social Studies Community Academy in Brooklyn, a program dedicated to studying, promoting, and collecting shoes.
Sneakers are wearable art. You're giving the sneakers a level of depth and AKA storytelling that convinces the consumer that they're making the right purchase when they buy these sneakers.
But for Howard White, who still works at Nike and still talks to Michael Jordan often, the Air Jordan success is because it's not actually the story of a shoe. It's the story of something much bigger.
It's totally transcended basketball at this point, right?
There have been a lot of basketball shoes. It's not about basketball. And if this simple article of footwear can make people interpret themselves in a way that gives them just the power to believe more in themselves, that's what the Jordan brand is about.